So the Pittsburgh Steelers, they just fired multiple shots at star players on this roster. It's really frustrating, right? It's frustrating losing to a team that you feel like you have superior talent over. That's exactly what happened against the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of the onus on that can be on the defense and also a special teams mistake by Caleb Johnson. I'm going to get to him in just a moment. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, they just signed a wide receiver, and this is really a huge shot at Roman Wilson. So let's get into this here and talk about frustrating. For whatever reason, Roman Wilson, he just can't really find his groove on this team. I mean, we're starting with a rookie season that was pretty much negated by injury, but now I think the signing of Hodgins, it's really sending a signal here, and it's also the fact that he hasn't really formed a rapport with starting quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had a really, a quote that we should have been paying attention to during training camp, and he said that he needed Wilson to trust himself more. So we're 2 weeks into the season. The Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, they clearly don't trust Roman Wilson. I think he has one catch, maybe two, almost non-existent in this offense. And then today, the Steelers signed veteran wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins. I mean, at the outset, it looks like a depth signing. This was broken by Jordan Schultz, and I'm going to call this up here. Jordan Schultz called this out, but this is what the signing of wide receiver Isaiah Hodgins is saying. I think it's a bad sign for Roman Wilson. I think in Hodgins' best year in the league, it came in 2022. That's when he was traded to the Bulls from the New York Giants. And that year, that was a Giants surprise playoff year. He ended up having 4 touchdowns, caught 33 passes for 351 yards. And he did it in just 5 starts. So what I'm really getting to, why this is a bad sign for Roman Wilson, is that this is a player that looks strikingly familiar. He looks like Alan Lazard, to be frank. I mean, he has a similar skill set, and this is one of Aaron Rodgers' favorite targets from the past. A lot of rumors that he was going to come over to the Steelers from the Jets. It never really happened. But we're talking about a receiver who's tall. We're talking about a really rangy wide receiver, a guy who can win over the middle, and also a contested catch guy. So this is a really more significant signing than it looks like at the outset. And the guy's almost an exact opposite of who Wilson is and his skill set. So kind of looking at what Adam Holt had to say. He's a guy that used to cover the Giants while Hodgins was with the team. So this is what Hodgins is. This is the book on him from Adam Holt, and I'm just going to directly quote from it. Hodgins is an intriguing piece to add for Pittsburgh, mainly due to his size. The guy's 6'3", and he uses that size effectively. With limited size and some of the other options at wide out for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers would really love to see a big body addition that provides depth, some serious red zone upside. And you're looking at this wideout has strong hands. He's really excelled at extending passing plays in college. When the play breaks down, Rodgers, he doesn't mind moving around the pocket still. And if he's trying to buy time, Hodgins definitely understands how to get open when a play breaks down. I really like this fit for both sides, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Hodgins sticking around in Pittsburgh. So kind of looking at that a little more. I'm going to get back into Hodgins in just a few minutes, but let's talk about the other player that really some shots were fired against. Let's talk about Caleb Johnson. And also let's examine whether this big faux pas with this kickoff thing, let's see if it was really fully his fault. I mean, in the end, it's the fault of the player, but I really want to get into that. So we're looking at the rookie, Caleb Johnson, made a really big error, and it was on a kickoff return during this loss to the Seahawks, and it's really the error. It's really the thing that gave them an easy touchdown and really kind of seeded the game away out of reach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You knew they were going to lose, obviously, after this happened. So kind of what happened. He didn't field the kickoff, and it landed right in front of him. And he didn't knock down the ball in the end zone for a touchback. So knockdown. He didn't down the ball in the end zone for a touchback. Sorry, you guys. And that led to the Steelers not getting the ball. It actually led to the Seahawks just falling on the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. That made the game 31-17. And if you hear from head coach Mike Tomlin, he said that Johnson used poor judgment on the play. And he said that in today's press conference talking about the game. And that actually he's going to have to prove himself. He's going to have to prove that he deserves another chance to have a sizable role on this team. Most notably, he's talking about special teams, but I think it goes across a gamut. Your head coach does not like mental mistakes like this. This is here straight from Tomlin. Probably not in the short term. I'm certainly going to give him an opportunity to work his way back. I believe in his talent. He's a sharp young man. He's a hard worker. So you leave a light on for him to give him an opportunity to move on from it. And the guy's got to do it. He has to do that. He has to display that with his daily work, and he's got to earn himself back into position to be a participant. And then after that, really telling, Kenneth Gainwell, he returned to kickoff after this blunder, and just not good at all. And as far as his role in the offense, I think that's kind of going away, or it didn't really exist in the first place. Kenneth Gainwell is getting so many carries, so many plays, and I think it's the fact that he can pass block. And that's what Aaron Rodgers really desperately needs. That's what he really relies upon as a quarterback, especially not being as mobile as he was in his heyday. And also, Kenneth Gainwell is a great receiver out of the backfield. So it's just not a good situation for Caleb Johnson. What I like to see is that Mike Tomlin said we're going to leave the light on for this guy. So this is here straight from Johnson. If he was asked whether he actually knew the rule back there, and this is straight from Johnson. If I was sure, if I wasn't sure, it doesn't matter. I still got to do what I got to do, and I still got to go in there and execute the way it needs to be executed. So once again, it bounced in the landing zone. It went through the hands of Caleb Johnson. He let the ball bounce, assuming it would go into the end zone for a touchback. That's old school rules, right? But that's not the rule in the NFL anymore. The ball was then recovered in the end zone by the Seahawks for a touchdown, put them up 24-14 at that point, and that's a lead that the Steelers just could not get past. So let's talk about Steelers special teams coach Danny Smith. Isn't it his responsibility to make sure that Caleb Johnson knows this rule? I mean, it's under his watch. And he's also putting a really inexperienced player in this position. You can kind of argue that there's some coaching issues here as well. If you're putting a rookie like that in that situation, is it your job as a coach to make sure he knows the rules? Or is it on the player? So let's talk about that in the comments after this video. Whose responsibility was this? Was it fully on Caleb Johnson's plate? Or should Danny Smith have to be held accountable for this? We're looking at the Steelers they can experiment. They can see if Johnson might develop into a good returner. But if they were going to put him back there, isn't the coaching staff, don't they have the responsibility to make sure that he knew every single rule inside and out? Because by his comments, it's pretty evident that he flat out didn't know the rules. So I wasn't in the meeting room. I don't know if it was presented to him. One would think that it has been, if it's just a brain fart for Caleb Johnson, or it's on Danny. So we will find that out in the future, I am sure. You guys have been awesome. It is never fun getting on here after a loss. It's never fun to find things to talk about. I think the onus for this game is on this mistake by Caleb. And also, man, your defense is in tough shape. I'm going to talk about that later in the week. But enjoy this week leading into the game. I know all is not lost. You guys are 1-1. You are still in the driver's seat for a playoff spot and still in the driver's seat to have a really good season. I'm going to continue to be here on the daily with an outsider's view of your Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll talk soon. See ya.